Okay, everybody, today is September 9th, 2024. This is the series where I go over to r/games to keep you and me updated on everything going on in the world of video games. Let's see what we got today. I missed yesterday's video, so I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of news to catch up on today. First thing I see here, Baldur's Gate 3 level editor is cracked open by modders, bringing homebrew campaigns one step closer. So Baldur's Gate 3 had a patch release about 4 days ago. It was patch 7, and I believe a part of that was modders tools, or at least community support for modders. So I'm wondering if this level editor being cracked open is a result of that patch and maybe the modders tools that were a part of it. This article comes from Rock Paper Shotgun, written by Brendan Caldwell. Hack the Planet Wizard fans, a modder has cracked open some previously disabled abilities in the official modding toolkit for Baldur's Gate 3. So this modding toolkit, I believe, was released in the last patch, but they apparently had disabled some of the abilities, making it possible for folks to create their own levels or alter the game's existing environments. The toolkit, which was only made available last week, previously wouldn't let you do any of that due to the technical constraints of platform-specific guidelines, according to developer Larian. But modders neither care nor sleep. It took them just 2 days to worm their way into the dev kit's innards and make the impossible possible. To give you context, last week the developers released a hefty patch that added a bunch of new endings to the fantasy RPG, but included in that patch was official mod support and the modding toolkit. Okay, so I wasn't wrong, because it only took them 2 days and the patch came out 4 days ago. So as a part of last patch, this toolkit was released and the modders have already cracked into it. It was made available to help the usual sickos continue working on new hairstyles, custom weapons, and other material. The kit is essentially a watered-down version of what developers Larian would use in the studio, with some of the more powerful features disabled. You could view the game levels in read-only mode, for instance, but you couldn't alter their environments, nor make your own levels. Until enterprising modder Sigger stuck a lockpick into the dev kit and made everything possible, that is. The toolkit is available on Nexus Mods, at the time of writing at least. I mean, that really is incredible to have the ability to create your own campaigns. I mean, with so many virtual tabletop tools being released right now, to be able to just create your own campaigns in Baldur's Gate 3, you're basically getting the ability to run a D&D campaign and a video game at the same time. Days Gone not getting a sequel was Studio Ben's decision. The game was canceled internally before a pitch could ever reach Sony. Before I get into the article, just remind ourselves about Days Gone a little bit here. Days Gone has a 9 out of 10 on Steam. 94% of Google users like the game. Where's our Metacritic? On Metacritic, it has a 71 critic score, but it has an 8.5 for users. I mean, 8.5 is pretty good, and 71 is also not necessarily that bad. It's not amazing, but it's not that bad. The game came out in 2019. That's 5 years now, so you would think that a sequel would be coming out soon if it hadn't come out already. All right, let's see what this says. Oh, okay. So this is just a post from Fento on Icon Era. A couple of screenshots from Twitter. I'm going to start with the second one, actually. This comes from Pete the Peepo. Both directors of Days Gone did a podcast with Jaffe. It's 4 hours long, but they'll talk about the topic for the first hour or two. The TLDR being that it was stopped internally, didn't reach Sony, reason given that Days Gone was not seen as successful inside of Ben's studio. So the two directors are John Garvin and Jeff Ross. Someone commented here, so Sony's management never rejected a Days Gone 2 pitch or even saw one. All these meltdowns over Sony's priorities, and it's actually Ben Studios itself that decided to do a different game. But people have been asking for a sequel, it seems, and they haven't been getting one. This top tweet is from Takashi Nuuto, and oh, it looks like it is cutting off here, so let's click on this and see the full tweet. Days Gone 2 not being made was a Studio Ben decision. John blamed his game not selling well on discounts and woke reviewers. Sony made him take anger management classes because of how he treated his staff, his own admission. He still harasses Studio Ben every now and then. Ben repeatedly distances themselves from John. Okay, so he's not working for the studio anymore. He left Ben to write for some Guessing this is NFT game that I can't tell what its fate is. John is being really salty about a Game of the Year contender game making a tribute for his character when he's at least partly to blame for the cancellation of said franchise. Looking at the previous points, lol. A tweet from John Garvin. I saw my character reduced to a cartoon shill promoting some small game and I'm being harsh. Sit down, my brother, adults are talking. So the character Deacon is going to be tributed in Astrobot, even though the director, John Garvin, is upset about that, even though Astrobot is supposed to be an amazing game. I might have to make a longer video about John Garvin and the full story here. There's definitely a lot more going on, but I'm going to have to move on for now. That at least gives you an idea of why there wasn't a Days Gone sequel. Okay, let's scroll on down here. Tune in tomorrow for a PlayStation 5 technical presentation hosted by Mark Cerny. All right, this is just a little announcement here about a PlayStation 5 technical presentation going on tomorrow. So today is September 9th. The presentation, as stated here, will be September 10th. Next up, the future of Minecraft's development. This article is coming from Minecraft.net. It's written by Ryan Cooper. Looking ahead at what's to come. This year, we celebrated Minecraft's 15th birthday. We spent 15 years mining, crafting, and surviving together, but we've also spent the last 15 years evolving the cave game of 2009 into the Minecraft we play today. From the addition of jungle biomes in 2012 to the trial chambers in 2024, each free update has expanded our game's blocky universe a little further, and you, our treasured community, has been with us every step of the way. Together, we've crafted a game that has stood the test of time. As we look towards our 16th birthday and beyond, we're here to talk about the future of Minecraft's development. We are working to bring you new features more regularly, the changes we are making to Minecraft Live, and more. All right, not a super long article. I'm going to give it a read and summarize it for you. All right, there's two main things. The first thing has to do with feature drops, which used to only happen once a year in the summer. Now they're going to be happening more regularly throughout the year. They don't say how many updates are going to be happening throughout the year, but they do say that they're going to vary in size. So there will be some smaller and some that are larger. They say they've already started experimenting with this when they released an update in December 2023 and an update back in April. The next thing has to do with basically their Minecraft Direct, which they call Minecraft Live. They used to only do this once a year as well in October, but now it's going to be twice a year. So for all you Minecraft players, expect more regular content drops and more information coming more frequently about those content drops. All right, next up, Oxenfree will be removed from download from itch.io for existing purchases from October 1st, 2024. Just received this email. Night School Studio has sent you a message about Oxenfree. Oxenfree will no longer be available on itch.io beginning October 1st, 2024. If you have already downloaded the game, you'll be able to keep it and continue to play from your downloaded files. If you have not already done so, you can download files until October 1st, 2024 to keep the game. Everyone who worked on Oxenfree deeply appreciates the support from our community over the past 8 years, and we hope to see you on another service or timeline soon. Thank you. Note that this mail was sent to people who have Oxenfree in their collection, and if you haven't manually added the game from the bundle to your collection, you didn't receive this mail. Seems a little unfortunate. Maybe there's just no way of knowing who has access to the game if they've purchased it but haven't downloaded it. Keeping the downloads available for existing purchases would cost Netflix and Night School Studio literally nothing. I really can't understand why they did this. If it's an order from Netflix, then the answer is easy. They hate people being able to own things. Although in that case, the only thing they're proving here is the importance of DRM-free media. Okay, so this is really interesting. I didn't know about Oxenfree. It's a game that's been out for 8 years, apparently. The publisher of the game is Netflix. I didn't realize that Netflix was publishing games 8 years ago. I know that games are now being released onto Netflix as part of like the streaming service, but I didn't realize Netflix was publishing video games 8 years ago. The other piece that's interesting about this is it's only being taken down from itch.io. You'll still be able to buy it on Steam. You'll still be able to buy it on other services as well. You can play the game on Switch. You can play the game on PlayStation. You can play it on Xbox. You can play it on mobile. You can play it on Mac. There's a ton of places you can play it, which means there's a ton of places you can buy it. Hi, Editing Taylor here. One thing I forgot to comment on was the fact that there are people who have purchased the game, but because they have not downloaded it, they're going to lose their chance to download it once the game is no longer offered on itch.io. This is pretty shady, especially because the people who received the email are only the people who have already downloaded it, and the people who do own the game but have not downloaded it did not receive the email letting them know the game will no longer be available for download. So basically, they spent money on a bundle that they were told included certain games, and if they did not download the game, it will no longer be available. And that is pretty shady. So the commenters here are talking about how Netflix is against people owning media, which might be the case. Just the way that Netflix is set up, it is a streaming service. It is not a service that allows you to buy things primarily. But I don't know if this is a sign of things to come necessarily. I think this is just one platform where you used to be able to buy the game and you will no longer be able to buy the game. Perhaps it has to do with the platform itself. Perhaps it is a sign that we will start seeing Oxenfree no longer available on other services as well. We will have to see. All right, after that, it looks like we have a trailer. Carmen Sandiego. Official announcement trailer. I love Carmen Sandiego games. Let's give this a watch.
Hey, Red. Cutting-edge fighter jet was stolen from the National Air and Space Museum in Washington.
Okay, and this is based off the cartoon on Netflix. I played that game. Is it based off the cartoon? They called her Red. Maybe it's not based off the cartoon. Just the fact that he called her Red made me think it was. You're playing as Carmen Sandiego, though. You're not trying to catch Carmen Sandiego. The art style is making me think it is a little bit more based on the cartoon, and the fact that you're playing as Carmen Sandiego makes me feel like it's trying to sell to the cartoon fans. Netflix games, it is a publisher, interesting. Man, it's coming everywhere. Oh, it's coming to mobile as well. Switch, Steam. Did it have a release date? Yeah, it looks like they don't have a release date yet. Well, it's definitely not the Carmen Sandiego games of old, but it's interesting. I've always kind of liked mystery puzzle games. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Ubisoft shares plunge again after investor urges company to go private. Man, all the different things that make shares go up and down, they make no sense to me. This is an article from videogamechronicle.com. It is written by Tom Ivan. Ubisoft shares price plunged again on Monday after a minority investor called on management to take the company private or let it be sold to a strategic investor. The Assassin's Creed publisher's share price fell 10% during trading today before closing down 7.13%. It has fallen by more than 50% over the last 12 months and now sits close to a 10-year low. Wasn't it already at a 10-year low? Maybe it came up again and then went back down? I don't know. The company's share price are already declined significantly early this month, reportedly driven by a combination of poorer than expected launch for Star Wars Outlaws and a sharp decline in interest in free-to-play shooter X-Defiant. On Monday, hedge fund AJ Investments published an open letter calling for strategic and structural changes at Ubisoft. It urged the board to consider taking the company private, implement a comprehensive cost reduction program and optimize staffing levels to be more comparable with industry leaders, increase its focus on core IPs, and consider replacing current CEO Yves Guillemot. The creative director of Star Wars Outlaws has said he's a little disappointed with review scores for the game and that developer Ubisoft Massive is committed to improving the title with post-release updates. Ubisoft today began rewarding X-Defiant players with free virtual currency for logging into the game, seemingly in a bid to boost engagement as the title's first season of live content draws to a close. Okay, so one minority investor is freaking out a little bit because Ubisoft's struggling and sends this letter out to the public, making everybody freak out even more. And so the stock drops again. The most interesting piece of news from this article for me is this part here about Star Wars Outlaws and about how they're a little disappointed and how they're committed to improving it. Ubisoft is struggling, but I don't think this is for forever. Ubisoft is going to be fine. Ubisoft is going to be fine. All right, let's keep moving on to the next thing. Mario Party Jamboree takes the best of its predecessors and simply adds more. All right, this looks like a review for Mario Party Jamboree. This article also comes from Video Game Chronicle, written by Alan Wen, that there's about to be a third Mario Party entry in the Switch 3 years after Mario Party Superstar speaks to the extraordinary life cycle of Nintendo's record-smashing hybrid console. But if Super Mario Party Jamboree is arriving at the platform's twilight, then it's packed to the gills with content to make this a farewell party to remember. Man, if the Switch is already going away, I'll be so sad. This is a full review of Mario Party Jamboree, so I am not going to give this a full read right now, but if you are interested on Alan Wen's thoughts on the game, come over to Video Game Chronicle and give it a read. After that, we have Astrobot, free DLC coming in 2024, add speedruns and new VIP bots. They're already talking about DLC, the game just came out. This article comes from Jamatsu, written by Sal Romano. Publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment and developer Team Asabi will release free downloadable content for Astrobot in 2024, which will add speedruns and new VIP bots. Game director Nicolas Duche, not sure how to say that, told Quest Daily in a video interview. I'm not going to read this full quote, but I'll give you a little bit of the beginning here. Yes, so we have free downloadable content, so it's going to be free. It's going to come this year. It will be smaller. It's not going to be a huge amount, but it will be focused on one of the features that people enjoyed in Astro's Playroom. That was the speedruns. Looks like he also confirmed there's going to be leaderboards. This game just came out and they're already talking about downloadable content. That means people are excited about the game. It's crazy that they're going to be able to get this out within the year. It's September. October, November, December. So there's only 3 more months. So 4 total months, I guess you could say, if you're including September. This seems really fast, but for a game that people are really enjoying, I don't think anyone's going to complain. Okay, scrolling on down. Another Embracer studio, Lost Boys Interactive, hit with layoffs. More layoffs in the video game industry. See, the big thing I saw from that letter from the minority owner about Ubisoft was cost-cutting measures, which probably means layoffs, and anything Ubisoft can do to avoid that, I am down for. So it kind of annoys me when I see this minority investor writing this letter to the public about we need to cut costs and we need to quote unquote make things better, so to say, because the stock prices have gone down a bit. Maybe we don't need to cut costs and we just need to calm down a little bit and wait it out. This article about layoffs comes from Insider Gaming by Mike Straw. Another day, another Embracer-owned studio has been hit with layoffs, and this time is Lost Boys Interactive. On Friday afternoon, the co-developer known for work on games like Tiny Tina's Wonderland, Diablo 4, and more announced on LinkedIn that it had made a very difficult decision to reduce its overall headcount. In the post, the company says that it's directly influenced by the projects and priorities of our development clients. It was added that a shifting market has forced the company to reassess its operations. We recognize the impact of this decision on our team members who have contributed greatly to our success, Lost Boys Interactive CEO Sean Nevin said. Decisions involving staff reductions are never made lightly, and this action was taken only after considering all other options. We are committed to supporting them in every way we can during this transition. This isn't the first time that Lost Boys Interactive has seen layoffs. Just earlier this year, the company lost around 125 of its 400-person staff. So it's now under 300 and it's losing more people. So it's down probably maybe to half of what it used to be. I appreciate this quote. It's a little bit more understanding and empathetic than I've seen from other companies who are laying off these days. It is a little funny that they're like, the company says that it's directly influenced by the projects and priorities of our development clients. And so in a way, they're like, this isn't our fault. It's our clients' fault, who we're developing for. They're the ones who are not necessarily paying us to work on projects or asking us possibly to bid a lower price. They're asking us for a discount, which means we don't get as much money from them, which means we can't pay our employees. All these layoffs are just so tough. It's hard to see them happening all at the same time. Alright, next up. Silent Hill 2 Remake's first 90 minutes are online a month before its official release. This is an article from Eurogamer, written by Vicky Blake. Can't wait until the 8th of October to revisit Silent Hill. Here's a free visit to everyone's special place, courtesy of Japanese content creator who has streamed the first 90 minutes of Silent Hill 2 Remake to YouTube. Okay, so this isn't a leak. I thought this was a leak, but it's just a streamer who probably got permission. If you're excited for the remake and you want to see what the first 90 minutes look like before you play it, give it a watch. All right, next up, Destiny 2 paving the way for new frontiers. This is coming from Bungie. It looks like this is a new roadmap for 2025. Today marks the 10-year anniversary of Destiny. I did not realize Destiny had been out for 10 years. Okay, so not a ton of like specific new information, but the big thing here is looking at 2025. We are getting 2 expansions, which include 4 updates in summer 2025, fall 2025, winter 2025, and spring 2026. Not sure if there's going to be any more updates between now and next summer. That's interesting. That's really exciting that there's going to be so much content coming out for Destiny starting in the middle of next year. All right, scrolling down here. Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection, latest information. New titles announced, including Duel Monsters 2, and Dark Duel Stories. This is just coming from Twitter. 3 additional titles to be included have been revealed. The Yu-Gi-Oh! Early Days Collection. The domestic sales version is planned to include a first-run limited bonus Yu-Gi-Oh! Official card game card. I didn't realize that there was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Remake collection coming out soon. I think the big question is whether or not it comes out in the US. It may only come out in Japan. Minecraft is getting a native PlayStation 5 version. Oh, that's right. I forgot to mention that when I was reading the article before, but they did talk about that in that article. And it looks like this is a Twitter post. Oh, and this does give a good little summary of those things I was mentioning before, but I didn't talk about the PlayStation 5 version of Minecraft that is being worked on at the moment. Sven Vinky, regarding Baldur's Gate 3, modding is pretty big. We had more than 1 million mods installed in less than 24 hours. Okay, this is a day ago. This is what I get for not making a video yesterday. The patch came out, a ton of mods were released, and as we talked about already, modders were able to figure out a full level creator. Baldur's Gate 3, I feel like, is a game that has a long life ahead of it, even if Larian isn't going to be the ones working on it. All right, it looks like that's pretty much going to be it for today. I did find this video about Assassin's Creed Mirage 1 year later, so I'm going to go ahead and play this as I sign off for today. Thank you everybody for watching this video. If you are someone who wants to stay up to date on everything going on in the world of video games, please subscribe to my channel. Click the bell so that you're notified when I upload a new video. I'm BTayOkay. This was September 9th, 2024 on r/games. I'll see you tomorrow.